In this video, I'm going to break down exactly every single strategy that the big gurus are using to maximize their reach and their selling power with their content. And as you can see, there is a lot of things for us to actually cover in this video. So let's get right into it. And the three things that we're gonna base this ranking of this content strategy around is gonna be the reach, like how effective these content strategies are when it comes to reaching people, the selling power, how these content strategies improve your selling power and how well you're able to sell, and the simplicity, meaning how hard or easy they are to produce, right? So let's start with the first one, which is voiceover with B-roll. And so as you can see, I've linked a couple examples here. And so, but basically like this is a style that you just like have a voiceover, you talk about a story, and then you fill it in with a bunch of B-rolls. The key here is to have storytelling, so tell a story and have very, very good visual stimulation. You need to stimulate the people, and every single part of the story needs to be described. You need to basically have people feel as if they're going through the story with you. When it comes to reach, this is actually very, very good. There's like one of the most viral formats is actually this format because it just connects with people so much. And selling power is actually also great because storytelling nowadays is building trust, and with trust comes selling power, especially in today's market where the trust is very, very low. So selling power is actually quite great, and you can get a lot of leads using this strategy. And simplicity, well, they're quite simple to make. They're not super simple, but they are quite simple. Proven to print. Like there's a lot of like these two guys that I just show you, these two examples, like they're actually printing with this type of content. So next one is reaction videos. So reaction videos is, as you can see, it's you filming a video, either reacting to a comment, a story, or a video like this, or you can even do like a background video where something is going on behind you and you're like sitting there as a background, and then you react to what's happening, right? And so the key with this is to keep it controversial or contrasting to the opinion that is stated in either this video, for example, or this comment. So as you can see, the comment here is like, bro is professional scam teacher, and then he talks about how it's not scam, etc. And so people are anticipating this argument going on, etc. and this controversy basically. These videos, they have an insane reach potential simply because they're controversial. Like they're controversial, and that is the only thing making them special. Selling power is super low because you're not giving away any value, you're not doing anything. And I've never seen any video perform well that is a reaction video. Never seen get any leads, anything, nothing. And simplicity is super simple to make, especially when it comes to coming up with ideas. You just go to your comments, see the most controversial comments that you can find, and react to it. And that's pretty much it, right? So I would do this sometimes. Like this is my client John Mark. He does it only sometimes to get like reach, I guess, but definitely not to sell. So this is good for getting attention, and that's pretty much it, nothing else. The third content strategy is transformation videos. This is insanely powerful, and this is basically, you know, those videos where people show themselves when they were either skinny or broke, and then a few seconds later there's like trendy sound in the background, and then boom, they're rich, they're super famous, etc. Those are the type of videos. And the key with these videos, you want to tell your story and show off your transformation. That is literally it. And you want to tell your story by using captions. Like I see a lot of people just put B-rolls, you know, explaining what's happening. And if you don't explain to your audience what is happening, they will not be able to understand it properly. So the reach of potential reach of these videos is actually super insane, because this is the entire point. You know, this is the entire thing people want to see on social media, especially if your audience is primed, and your reach is going to blow up. There's transformation videos with like tens of millions of views. Selling power also is fucking powerful, just because people love to see your transformation, and like you're showcasing exactly what your audience wants. So they're naturally going to be curious of how you achieved it, so you can get easy leads and easy sales. And simplicity, if you have the raw footage, like there's a lot of people that actually recreate them being broke just so they can get this footage. So if you have to do that, it's not simple, But like most people, if you have it documented, it's super simple to make. And I'm putting this as a mega fucking printer because this is literally bread and butter of your personal brand. You want to be doing this like every single day, bro. Next is Twitter Reels. I'm sorry, Twitter like Reels. So these are basically, you saw these, like Alex Hormozi is pretty popular for this. And then you just a picture of him, and then a quote that looks like it's posted on Twitter, and then this kind of where he shows off his lifestyle, and there's like a valuable hook, and then there's a value throughout the whole video. So this is basically a Twitter post turned into a reel with Twitter-like style of content. And the key with this is you have to make them valuable, to consume, or you have to make them interesting to consume, just like Alex Hormozi. Alex Hormozi is the perfect example of this type of posts. And so the reach with this content strategy is very, very good, just because if you actually execute this and make it like very interesting to consume, or make it controversial, the reach is going to be crazy, and it's super easy to consume. It's not long, it's super easy to read. Selling power is not great, so you just want to use these videos to get attention. Unless you're doing something like the other guy that I showed you, you're giving away value, then it might be useful for sales. But yeah, simplicity, super simple to make. You just like put some pictures on the screen, type it out, and it's super simple. So like, I'm going to put this as tested out. We are actually testing this with one of our clients right now, and we actually have a lot of great predictions for this. So boom, and next is the carousel. So very, very similar to the other style, which is Twitter like Reels. So you can either do this where there's like your picture and then like text. Pages like Wealth and other pages are very, very known for this, but also you can just take, a template, Twitter template, and just apply it to carousels. So it seems like you're doing a tweet or repurposing a tweet on carousels. And yeah, the same thing here, make them valuable and visually stimulating, or interesting to consume. And like these carousels are very, very effective. Now, when it comes to reach, these carousels are not insane for reach, simply because they're only getting shown to your audience. There's a lot of things that need to go into a carousel for it to be able to attract a lot of the non-followers. Carousels are mostly for followers, and they're meant to be used for selling, which is why it has very good selling power, and why pages such as Wealth and big pages like that have a huge, like millions of followers, they're able to monetize it for thousands of dollars just to have one single carousel post posted on their page. So selling power is insane with this, and simplicity, it can actually be quite high, simply because it's a lot more complicated than people understand. It is. You have to come up with a good hook, with a good value and all that stuff. And because of this, it is actually proven to print. I'm going to put this as like proven to print because there's literal pages that build their like millions of followers, and their only source of income is literally promoting this. So there has to be an ROI on this. So that's why I'm putting it in that place. Next type of content is screen share type of content. Like the most known people for this are like Nick Setting and maybe Reels, Smith Rees. I don't know if you know who that is, but anyway, so you can either do this like with the background, green screen background, or you can do this, you make a diagram, you film the diagram, and you film yourself, and you show it on the screen. And the key with this is to really make it, again, valuable for people to, or interesting. There's people who don't make it valuable, but they make it interesting to listen to, motivational, controversial, and you have to make it visually stimulating, meaning like you have to create this diagram that looks complicated. It's going to keep people intrigued into watching more of it and to find out what it actually is that you're talking about. So the reach with these actual videos is actually quite crazy. I know some people that have gotten a good streak of viral videos simply doing this style. So the reach can be actually amazing. Selling power, it might be, if you're showing off a system or something, it might be good. So yeah, I don't know. And simplicity, I don't really have an insight on the selling power, so I'm not going to say much. But simplicity, it's complex. Like, trust me, it might look so simple just because you're like screen sharing and you're recording it, but the time it takes you to build this complex diagram to actually grab people's attention, it is like so crazy. One thing you can do is like if you're using a diagram that you previously used, then but like I'm gonna put this as tested out, a couple reels here and there, but again, I just wouldn't recommend it, wouldn't personally do it with my clients. Next, we have the long form clips, and this is personally my favorite. So we have Suway and we have our client Harut. And so this is what we're actually doing most of our clients, because these are bangers. It saves time, and if you do them correctly, it can bring you sales and views. So the key with these, you want to make them valuable or emotional, right? So this is a valuable video, this is an emotional video. So you want to use them to display raw emotions or pure education. Reach with these kind of videos, it can be either bad or it can be insane, and as well as the selling power, it can be bad or insane. It all depends on what's the goal with the long form clip that you're choosing, and it depends on what you're optimizing for. So with reach, if you're optimizing for something emotional, raw, it's going to get a lot of views, but it's not going to get a lot of sales because it's emotional and it's authentic. It's not meant to be salesy, which is why it has a lot of views, but again, why it has no selling power. But with Harut, for example, we got 2,000 views on our last video, which is low reach, but like selling power is very high because we got 60 comments. 60 comments on 2,000 views, which is an insane conversion rate. And simplicity, again, it can be simple, it can be hard to make, but this is absolutely mega printer, and this is our standard for all of our clients. You have to be doing these. There's no if. You have to be doing these. Next is we have the multitasking format. So I'm sure you've seen the reels where people, again, they're either doing something as simple as walking and talking, they're driving their car and they're talking, or they're doing something like they're solving a Rubik's Cube while they're talking, they're like doing their makeup, doing hair while they're talking, dressing up as they're talking, something like that. So that is the multitask format. And that is the whole reason why it keeps people engaged, because it provides the minimal amount of like visual stimulation for them to be entertained to watch that. And so the basic key with this is to do anything as you're speaking. You can talk about anything. If you're just moving, if you're just doing anything, people are still going to be engaged because of that moving effect. Again, the reach with these videos, it can be crazy simply because you're literally hypnotizing people into watching the video. Sometimes I'll be watching this video without even like thinking about what the person says. I'll just be watching them move. Selling power, I've never seen a video perform crazy when it comes to leads, but I've also never seen anybody sell with these types of videos. It's just more so to get attention, right? And so simplicity to make, they're super simple. You don't need a recording studio. You don't even need like super crazy B-roll or animations, because the walking or your multitasking does the work for you when it comes to, you know, visually stimulating people. And so it's not a crazy money printer. You can try it. I'll definitely put it as you can try, because even Alex Hormozi does them sometimes. I'm sure he does it to save time. But this doesn't do it to like make money with it. Talking back and forth. This is basically a style where you film yourself. It's like a skit style where you film yourself basically as one, like you can do this like 10K a month version of yourself, 100K a month version of yourself, old algorithm, new algorithm. And so this is very, very engaging, right? Because people want to know what you're going to say as this person and want to know what you're going to say as this person, right? And so the key with this is make it interesting and defeat limiting beliefs. And so, for example, like what these guys are doing is they're like he's telling the perspective of a 10K a month guy, and he's acting like a 100K a month guy, what his perspective is. And so this is really, really effective when it comes to breaking down defeating or limiting beliefs. Now, the reach with this one can actually be crazy because there's like two people talking, people want to see what the other one says, and so it can be very, very engaging. Selling power is also great because you can actually, you know, defeat limiting beliefs, and that is actually going to move people towards your offer. And simplicity, it's kind of complex and also simple to make. Like post-production, it is super simple, but while you're filming it, it can be very complicated. So it's not, I'm not crazy, but you can test it out. I'm not super crazy about this. Me personally, I'll definitely test it out with some clients, but you test it out, see what happens, and maybe that is your go-to style. Next is podcast style clips. This is very, very similar to long form clips, but essentially just clipping up stuff, not from a long form video, but for a podcast video. And obviously you cannot really film these anywhere else other than a podcast studio, either with somebody, a huge podcast, or your friend. And again, the goal with these is to make it interesting and visually stimulating. You can make these valuable, but the goal with these is not to get value from them, it's to make them interesting and easy to watch. Now, reach potential with these videos, again, just like YouTube long forms, really depends on how you make them and selling power, but they can be really, really good when it comes to reach. And they can be decent with selling power, again, if you do them correctly. And simplicity, they're like normal simplicity. They're nothing crazy, but I still do them from time to time with my clients. Again, our main thing is long form clips, but you can try these out. Like this is my client, for example, and we're doing with him the podcast style very often, but you can test it out depending on your brand and how people are already warmed up. Every audience reacts differently. Next is talking head video. So this is a video where you're talking into the camera, not necessarily cut out from YouTube. You can cut it out from YouTube, you can cut it out from podcast, but you can also script it out and film it very, very separately. Key with these is to make it valuable and visually stimulating, right? And so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna take Harut because this is our client. So the reach with these videos, it's not particularly crazy, especially nowadays. Nowadays, people are used to more like dynamic filming, but it used to be very, very great. But again, if you make it controversial, it can be like you singing in an office. It can be like you shirtless, just like I am right now, picking up your phone, whatever it is. But like reach depends on what you optimize for. Selling power can absolutely be like super great. Simplicity to make them, again, depends on what you optimize it for. But again, these are mega printers and you have to do them. This is a non-negotiable. I'm always doing this for my clients. I'm always recommending this. Next is this hyper edited style, which is like just, obviously there's value in it, but it's like hyper edited, all that kind of like there's a bunch of animations. And the key with this is to not do it. Like, especially in like, this era, this is just not worth it. Like people are not looking for hyper edits, they're looking for trust. And so the reach with these videos is actually good. It's pretty good just because it's very, very hyper edited. But just because it's hyper edited doesn't mean it's good, because the selling power is very, 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 very low. It usually attracts Indian editors, Indian population, because they're mostly editors. It attracts low quality viewers and it's not good for selling. It's not going to attract a high level entrepreneur. Simplicity is absolutely awful. And so this is actually the first thing, like, not even think about it. Not even think about this. Okay, this is pure garbage. And the last one is trendy audio plus captions. So this is basically Reels, where you put a trendy audio and captions on a screen, and then B-roll, obviously, to complement and to tell the story, etc. And so the goal with this is to copy the trends and make it emotional. So copy the trends. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just look at the people who are already doing this style and just copy them, and that's pretty much it. And also make it emotional. Like this reel, it says, your future family is depending on the man you become today, and then some very, very emotional sound in the background, which that's the goal, make it emotional. Now, when it comes to reach, these videos are actually amazing, because there's this guy, Jacob Levinrad. He's managed to pull off like so many millions of views. Like there's one single video like this got him like 11 million views, but the selling power is very, very poor because there's no substance in these videos. They're like last a few seconds. It's just for stimulation, motivation, that's it. It's like literally a feeling that comes and then goes as soon as you scroll to the next video. So there's no selling power. This is just to purely get attention and people on your page. But even then, it doesn't really get, qualified audiences on your page. Simplicity, they're super, super simple. They're like stupid simple, actually. So we're actually doing this with our clients. So I'm gonna put it as test it out, see what happens, and that's pretty much it. So this was all 13 content strategies. Let me know in the comments if I missed any of them, but this is all the strategies that big gurus such as Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, whoever you want to name, are using to grow their personal brand and maximize their selling power. Now, if you want to implement any of these into your personal, now, if you don't want to think about which one should I implement into my own personal brand, and you just want a plug and play strategy that you know is going to get you results, then check out the first link in the description. Check out the people that I work with, what kind of results we're getting them, and see how I can help you as well. That's it from this video. Make sure to subscribe and like, and I'll see you in the next one.